working on my 01 24 valve Cummins here. Now this is really weird. I picked this truck up a few days ago. Test drive went great. You know, cold start, starts right up almost instantly. Hot start, same thing, starts up almost instantly. I knew it had the stock lift pump in it. You know, so I knew I'd want to change it out eventually, but I thought it was working fine, you know, just of how well it was running and starting. So when I checked the fuel pressure on the back Schrader valve, right after my lift pump, before my injection pump, on the back of the fuel filter housing, I was getting 0 PSI. Key on, you know, engine cranking, you know, bumping the engine, 0 PSI running. So I knew there was an issue with the lift pump. Now, my first thought was, you know, am I even getting power to my lift pump? You know, so what you can do to check that is you come down here, you unplug your orange connector that's going in your lift pump. You can put 2 meter leads down in there and check for voltage. Key on. You should be getting some sort of voltage. If you're not, typically your ECM is on your way out, on its way out. Now, if you are getting voltage down there, you're not hearing your lift pump kick on. I wasn't hearing anything with this lift pump. You know, no noises whatsoever coming out of the pump at all, even when I was bumping the engine. You got a bad lift pump in that case if you're getting voltage down there and you're not hearing anything and you're not getting any fuel pressure. So to remove the fuel filter assembly, you got 2 10mm bolts on top. Got to remove those. You have 2 connections on the front side of the fuel filter. Just tuck those out of the way. Got this rubber hose on this line. You got to take that clamp, slide it that way so you can slide the line out of the rubber hose. And you got the same thing on the back, right in there. Got to take that clamp off and slide that out. And you should be able to remove your fuel filter assembly. Okay, fuel filter's out. Now you got 3 7/16 nuts here. You got to take off. You got to take off this fuel line coming in, and you can drop your lift pump out. That inlet fuel line to your lift pump, what I like to do is just kind of pick at around, you know, where the clips are, with just a light screwdriver to knock any rust or dirt loose. And then just take an air compressor with some air and blow out whatever's inside, and that'll help you gain some room to push those clips in and get that fuel line off. All right, so got the lift pump out here. What I found, I was taking it off, this actually sits up next to those 3 bolts. There's another bolt you got to take out. That thing just fell right off and completely corroded. So I'm sure that line incoming wasn't helping. I'll probably get rid of that banjo bolt and do a you know, a new fitting on there, new push lock fitting. Got the new Raptor installed. As you can see, it's sitting down there. And what I did is I took out that banjo bolt and put in a push lock 90. It wraps around the oil dipstick tube, and yeah, it was pretty easy install. Just runs those 2 bolts to hold it on that mounting plate. I believe that is the biggest improvement, running that style fitting instead of your stock banjo bolt, because those banjo bolts don't really flow a lot of fuel. Make it a lot easier running this style push lock fitting into your fuel pump. It'll have a lot less trouble getting fuel in your lift pump and into the rest of your system. I'm gonna do the same from where the fuel filter goes into the injection pump. I'm gonna get rid of that fitting and that line and do a big line kit on it. But I'll start it up for you. It runs mint, fuel pressure is perfect, 16 PSI. I tested it on my gauge, but wait to start here. runs perfect, no issues at all. So that's it, guys. Be sure to give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and make sure you subscribe.